Alright, so football is back. By the time you guys see this, it'll be starting next week, I believe, like on Thursday. So I wanted to do a video that kind of revolved around that because I enjoy me some football and I enjoy me some anime. So let's combine the best of both worlds here. So today I wanted to schedule some of the biggest fights in anime and imagine if they were to take place on these days during the NFL season. And if you're not familiar with football, keep watching. I'll try my best to explain to you the importance of these dates and why they are cool and not cool. So those key dates that I mentioned earlier that happened are Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thanksgiving game, and a Christmas game. So I'm going to choose those dates and we're going to have 5 big fights and we're going to try to find out a good schedule for them. If you were to attend these, say you're going to like the fight arena and you're gonna go on these specific dates, what fights would you see during those days? All right, so basically what I did was I Googled the biggest fights in anime and also I threw in a couple that I enjoyed myself. So these aren't like my personal list and like what fights I'd pick. Some of these are unbiased, some of these are biased. So let's get into it. All right, so starting off with Thursday night football. The thing about Thursday night football is a lot of players don't like doing it because they play on a Sunday night and then they have to do a quick turnaround to play on a Thursday night sometimes. It doesn't always happen. And also the thing about Thursday night games is that they are traditionally pretty bad. They throw like the worst teams possible and they're never any like fun games. It's just a middle of the week game that you're like, oh, well, your football's on and you try to watch it, but then a lot of the time it's a blowout or it's just 2 bad teams and you're just like, I get it. They want to do more football, but also like we don't necessarily need Thursday night footballs every week, but hey, here's something for you. All right, so that fight is going to be, slight spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen if you have not read the manga. Don't listen to this. This is going to be a slight spoiler unless you've seen it, which I'm sure a lot of you have. But anyway, Thursday night football, Thursday night fight. You go to the arena. This is the fight you'll be seeing on Thursday. It's going to be Gojo versus Sukuna. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's a big fight. Why are we waiting? What do you mean Thursday night? You just said it's the bad teams. Yes, I did say that. But also the outcome of this fight. We're not all fans of this outcome of the fight. A lot of us hate what happens. So that's what Thursday brings to you. You're not satisfied with what you see. It's cool in the moment sometimes, but also the end of it, you're just like, oh, okay, well that's that. So that's how I feel like the ending of this fight would go. But it would be cool to go see, like I said, on Thursday. Sometimes you're fiending for a game. You want to go watch something. You want to see something on TV. This would be one of those ones where you're like, oh, they're fighting on Thursday? That should be a good matchup. Should be fun. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, that was not as fun as I thought it was going to be. And that's just what a Thursday fight would feel like for me. And that's what this fight will be. And if it was the entire fight, that would be the entire season of football. We can't do that. We get one night only, and it's Gojo versus Sukuna on a Thursday night. All right, now a Sunday night fight. What will you be watching in prime time for NFL? This is the prime time game. All the games are played in the morning and the afternoon of Sundays, and there's always just one game Sunday night. Everybody's chilling before they have to go to work the next day or whatever, but everybody's around the TV watching whatever game is being played. And usually Sunday nights are filled with teams that people want to see, so it's probably like the better teams. So that's what this fight is going to come into play. It's one of the better fights that I've seen, one of the ones that I enjoy the most. It's a visual spectacle, just like Sunday night football can be, and it's going to be Rengoku versus Akaza. 2 fan favorites here. People love Rengoku and people like Akaza. Well, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people do like him amongst all the other demons that we see in Demon Slayer. And I feel like this would be a good appeal to both crowds here. And this would be a good matchup to see on a Sunday night, just seeing them going back and forth. Akaza trying to get him to switch teams, I guess, at this point. Hey, man, come play for my team. And Rengoku's like, no, I'm staying with my team. And just like the spectacle of it all. I know they've said like, hey, the fire and the elements that you see in Demon Slayer you can't really see. That's just the mangaka's way of saying like, oh, this is how the energy is being thrown about, but in real life you wouldn't see it. No, we're gonna cut that out. We're gonna see that in real life. We're gonna see these fire and these flames, these punches being thrown by Akaza, and yeah, it would be a fun time to watch on a Sunday night, and it would just get you excited going into the next week of your life. Like, hey, that was a cool fight on Sunday night. Did you see that Rengoku and Akaza fight? That was sick. Okay, next up would be Monday Night Football. It is similar to Sunday Night Football in the fact that there's only one set of teams playing and everybody's watching this one game. It happens in the evening and everyone's just get off work and everyone's just chilling at home. Nice cool fall day possibly, and you hear the jingle that everybody talks about all the time that gets you right in the feels, the nostalgia of it. And again, it's usually teams that are pretty decent, teams that people want to see, the more popular markets. There are some duds in there, and sometimes they do schedule like 2 games on a Monday night, but no, not in this case. This one is going to be a prime time Monday night game, Monday night fight that everyone's going to go see when they get off work and they've chilled out a little bit and they're like, hey, let's go catch that fight at the arena. It's going to be Lee versus Gaara from Naruto. And again, I picked like the best fights amongst anime. So like obviously this fight would be like top tier for a lot of people out there and a lot of markets. It could have been on any day, possibly. It could have been on Sunday night if I wanted to, but Monday night is a good spot for it. Everyone, like I mentioned, will be watching this fight, and it'll be a spectacle of sand and hands being thrown and weights being dropped, and people's minds are just blown, and everyone's tuned into this fight, and it would be the perfect primetime spot for this fight because this fight feels primetime, even though it took place during the day in the show, and it was like one of the early prelims of the entire tournament. This would be the mainstay for the Monday night. This would be like all eyes on him. Everybody see what Gaara can do. Everybody can see what Lee can do. Also, without his, ninjutsu. Like, whoa, hey, this guy just uses hands only, and this other guy just has like a possessed gourd of sand. That's crazy. It would just be a cool fall night to watch this take place. All right, and then finally the holiday games. The first one up would be the Thanksgiving game. If you are a fan of football, you know that Thanksgiving and football go hand in hand, like mashed potatoes and gravy. There's always about 3 games going on. The Lions always play on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, and there's always like a random evening game that everyone kind of just tunes out to. The main one that everybody watches is going to be the afternoon game, the one where you're just all together with your family. Everyone maybe just be getting a plate to eat, or you might have just finished slightly eating, or hey, you haven't probably even eaten yet, which sucks. I hate when that happens, when you have to wait till like 7 p.m. to eat on Thanksgiving. Crazy. But yeah, this would be like the middle of Thanksgiving, the one that everyone's just, you're at your distant relative's house with a bunch of your cousins. You're tuned in watching this fight happen on TV, or maybe you just decide, hey, like a Black Friday thing where everybody goes out early. Or maybe you leave your Thanksgiving dinner early to go watch this fight in person at this arena, this made-up arena that I made up for you. The Thanksgiving fight would be Luffy versus Kaido. Okay, now this one I'm not super duper familiar with. I mentioned earlier that I just pulled a list of the hypest fights, and I don't even know if this is the hypest fight in One Piece. As some of you may know, I don't watch One Piece. I do know when fights happen, and I do know when my friends talk about it, like, hey, this fight was sick or whatever, and I've seen clips of the Kaido fight and the Luffy fight. All I know is that it's a big, gigantic spectacle, and this is where, Luffy gets his Gear 5, and Joy Boy comes out, whatever, and a big-ass dragon, and a bunch of stuff, basically. And I think it'd be a good spot to have it on Thanksgiving because everyone will be with your family watching this fight take place, and it's a big fight within the story of One Piece and what it means to everybody. The stakes are so high, and like Luffy pushing past his limits that you thought, he couldn't go any further. No, he goes way further, and you find out secrets about him, and you're like, oh wow, that's crazy. And it's slotted perfectly, and especially like if Luffy wins the fight, which we know he does. Like on football, Thanksgiving, traditionally, when your team wins, afterwards you do a little interview, they bring you out a plate of food, and it's always, turkey and mashed potatoes, whatever. I feel like that would be perfect for Luffy to win the fight against Kaido and then just have a pile of food waiting for him, some turkey and some fixins. He would love that. He loves meat, so this would slot in perfectly. And yeah, it just feels like a Thursday Thanksgiving with your family kind of fight. Like, this is high stakes and high pressure situation. And blood pressure situation, I suppose, too, if you've eaten the right stuff. All right, and finally we have the Christmas game. The NBA, I think, has a better claim on Christmas, but sometimes it does fall on a Sunday, Christmas, and sometimes it falls like on a Monday. So we do get the occasional Christmas game. This one is, I don't think, as big as Thanksgiving, or is not as big a tradition as Thanksgiving, I suppose, the Thanksgiving game, but it is still pretty fun to have football on Christmas Day because you're just chilling with the family again, and you've just gotten a bunch of presents, and you're not really like, can't go anywhere because everything's closed, so you're like, hey, what else can I do besides just watch TV and what's on there, and let's all look at it, hang out with our gifts and stuff like that. So what would be better to have amongst all your gifts would be to get more gifts. So this Christmas fight would be Cell versus Gohan. I know, the Cell game is crazy. Arguably the two biggest fights would be between Cell, Gohan, and then Luffy and Kaido, at least on this list that I picked from. So that's why I mentioned earlier that like the Thursday night games aren't as big and the Sunday night one's like kind of cool or whatever. Christmas, again, a big holiday, and this would be a big fight to have on Christmas. You're just chilling watching this little kid get beat up on Christmas by some random alien. Be sick. But also it ties into like the whole theme of your family, because at the end of it, Goku comes on and they do the father-son Kamehameha, and that's what Christmas is all about, being with your family and giving. And Gohan gave his all in the fight, and also he gave Cell the hands. He gave him a father-son Kamehameha. He gave him Super Saiyan 2, and it's just a big moment, and this would be a big time fight to have on Christmas. It's everything you could want. It's family. It's green because Cell's green. It's yellow. It's light. It's bright lights. It feels like Christmas when you watch this fight over again. It's supposed to feel cozy or whatever. And sometimes when you watch it, it does feel kind of cozy because like the animation, but like, nah, we'll go against that. It'll be less cozy for everybody involved because there's just so much going on. What's a better Christmas gift than that, right? Getting your humanity back. Defeating a random alien who threatens to destroy all of humanity. You get your freedom back because of this little kid. He stepped up in the moment when it mattered the most. Just like Rudolph, right? Rudolph stepped up and helped guide the sleigh. Gohan also stepped up and guided something. There's a metaphor within that somewhere. All right, guys, so that is my full slate of fights for you as it relates to the NFL schedule. And hopefully, if you're not into football, you come away appreciating a little bit of what makes football so fun, at least as far as the scheduling goes. And hopefully you guys have brought back memories of these fights that you've seen in the past. Maybe it makes you feel all warm inside, just like football makes me feel warm inside. It's back, it's exciting, and these fights are also exciting. So yeah, if you have any other fights that you would want to see on certain days, let me know down below. Which fights did I miss? Which fights do you want to see scheduled on certain days? Whatever it is, let me know down below in the comment section. I appreciate that. Also, follow, that's also down below. Subscribing also is down below. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Let's get ready for the football season. Let's have some good times.